In the spring of 1964, work began on the new Braves home in Atlanta, modern $18 million Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Braves were scheduled to begin play here the following spring, but a Wisconsin court order forced the Braves to play in Milwaukee for one final season. Located near downtown, Atlanta Stadium was ready for 1965, but destined only for exhibition and AAA Crackers games that year. Meanwhile in Milwaukee, workers were preparing for the Braves' final season at County Stadium, a season that would be moderately successful on the field, but controversial off the field and in the courtroom. A sad finish for one of the most successful baseball franchises in any city. When the Braves arrived in Milwaukee a dozen years before, fan enthusiasm was tremendous. The Braves led the majors in attendance 5 consecutive years and set a new National League record of over 2.2 million in 1957. The club won 2 pennants, tied for a third, won a world championship, and finished second 5 times. In 13 years in Milwaukee, the Braves never once had a losing season. Yet, by 1965, unpopular moves by Braves management and once-hungry fans spoiled by success led to only slightly more than 550,000 turning out during the final lame duck season in Milwaukee. It's now late September 1965, and on the eve of the final Braves game in Milwaukee, a lonely figure sits quietly in a deserted County Stadium press box. Earl Gillespie, voice of the Braves to millions of fans during the past 13 seasons, pauses to reflect on memories of Milwaukee Braves baseball that took place in this ballpark. The attendance records, fan enthusiasm, the feats of Warren Spahn, Eddie Matthews, and others, and especially that memorable night in September 1957 when Hank Aaron hit his dramatic pennant-winning homer.
The pitch to Henry Aaron, a swing and a drive back into center field, going back towards the wall. It's back at that fence. And is it caught or not? It's a home run. The Braves are the champions of the National League. Henry Aaron just hit his 43rd home run of the year. Holy cow. Carrying Henry Aaron away from the plate. He just hit a home run over the center field fence. We did it. National League champions.
And then it was Wednesday night, September 22nd. This was it, the final game. Sandy Koufax and the Dodgers, who were fighting for a pennant, against the Braves and left-hander Wade Blasingame. Before and after the game, it was only fitting for Gillespie and members of the media to get Braves players and officials to comment on their years in Milwaukee and their thoughts on the Braves' move to Atlanta for 1966. And, of course, the Braves' 1-2 batting punch during those glory years in Milwaukee were Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron, who set a record for hitting the most home runs as teammates for one ball club. They passed Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig for that honor in May of 1965.
Well, I would have to say that Peepers here has been wonderful to me as my own personal reason is concerned. I know that my family and we all regret what have happened in the last year, but it wasn't any of the ball players choosing. But the thing that I can remember most about Milwaukee is the way that they've opened their hearts up and accepted me and my family into their hearts.
Eddie Matthews and manager Bobby Bragan had these comments.
Well, there's a lot of good moments. I met my wife here and married a Wisconsin girl. I've lived here 11 years. The attendance, the thrills that were involved in those years, and, of course, the World Series.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed my 3 years in Milwaukee. I can say that in all truthfulness. Mrs. Bragan and I came up and found an apartment up in Wauwatosa and didn't even bother to go back to our permanent home in Fort Worth.
13 years ago, the Braves' first home game ended in extra innings, with the Braves winning in dramatic fashion. Tonight's game would also go extra innings, but end in agonizing defeat. 12,577 fans showed up to say goodbye with standing ovations, the first as the Braves take the field. Eddie Matthews, a future Hall of Famer who brought Braves fans many thrills over the years, runs out to his customary third base spot. Braves starter Wade Blasingame makes his way to the mound. Hank Aaron is set in right field. The Dodgers scored a run in the first inning, but Koufax is in trouble in the second when Joe Torre, Gene Oliver, and Matthews single to load the bases. Second baseman Frank Bowling is at the plate. It's the first grand slam of Frank Bowling's career and his 7th home run of the season. The Braves now lead 4-1. That blast by Bowling is the high point of the evening. In the third inning, a standing ovation for Hank Aaron. And Hank raps out his final Milwaukee hit in a Braves uniform. With the Braves leading 6-1, Chairman of the board Bill Bartholomé explains why the Braves are leaving.
We believe our position is sound, and we are going to open in Atlanta on the 14th of April. I believe the date is next year, and that's it. It's an impossible thing to explain to that type of fan. The only unfortunate thing, there's not enough of them, apparently. We've made every effort to make this thing go here, and our most severest critic, the leading paper here in Milwaukee, as recently as a year and a half ago, said that we were doing the finest job in promoting baseball that ever been done in Milwaukee. And we've done everything we can to renew the even part of the interest that existed in the 50s. We've got a contending team here this year, and already now we're still very much in this. We're beating Sandy Koufax tonight, but the support has been, at best, very limited.
Fighting desperately to overtake the Giants for the pennant, the Dodgers tie the game off 5 Braves pitchers. The score is now 6-6 in the top of the 11th inning when manager Bobby Bragan comes out to make another pitching change. And you can hear the boos as the fans feel that Bragan is sympathetic toward Braves management. He calls for number 22 Dick Kelly, who comes on to replace Chichi Olivo with Dodger runners on first and second. The Dodgers punch a run across and are leading 7-6 as the Braves now bat in the last of the 11th. With 1 out and Mac Jones at first, Hank Aaron is coming up to bat against Dodger reliever Bobby Miller. Hank swings, and it's a drive to center field. Ron Fairley makes the catch. And he throws back to first to try to get Jones. Out! A double play, and the game is over. The Dodgers win 7-6. A heartbreaking defeat for the Braves and the end of the last Braves game ever played in Milwaukee. Fans start to come out onto the field. Someone wants to grab some infield dirt. I wonder if he still has it. And now others storm the field. Meanwhile, most fans sadly leave the ballpark not knowing if they will ever see Major League Baseball played again at County Stadium. They do know they have been part of a historic night. Actually, it would be 5 years before the Seattle Pilots would move to Milwaukee to become the Brewers, and local fans would have another team to cheer for and call their own. As they make their way out into the cool Wisconsin evening, they pass signs and banners from some well-wishers. However, most feel betrayed by a team which is leaving for what is perceived to be greener pastures. Some Milwaukee officials interviewed after the game believed it would only be a matter of time before the town again had big league ball.
My honest opinion, I think that we would be without Major League Baseball in the most only 1 year. Now, I don't have anything real concrete that I could say at this time about why I feel that way, but I honestly feel that we perhaps might be without Major League Baseball for 1 year, if that long, but no more than 1 year.
Well, I think that Major League Baseball has got to put Milwaukee in the picture simply for the reason that Milwaukee has always been so good for Major League Baseball, and the fans are still interested in it. They might possibly not have shown it this year, but it's an odd situation this year. I don't think this year is a true determiner of how Milwaukee feels about Major League Baseball.
Perhaps longtime Braves statsman and assistant publicity director Bob Allen summed it up best. His comments have a prophetic ending.
Earl, as you know, I spent, about 12 and a half very happy years with baseball here in the Braves of Milwaukee. I traveled throughout the state of Wisconsin and 8 surrounding states talking about the ball club, and of course it was just tremendous during every one of these years. Only the Yankees have outdrawn us, as you well know. It's a beautiful plant and a beautiful facility here. And I think that baseball and the National League in particular and the Braves owners handled this entire matter in a very disgraceful manner. And I think that not only the fans of Milwaukee and Wisconsin or the press in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but all over the nation feel the same way about the Milwaukee situation. I think the only way the National League and baseball can rectify the situation is to return baseball to Milwaukee, where it once gave baseball a tremendous shot in the arm.
And so the lights go out at County Stadium, signifying a sad end to a glorious 13 seasons of baseball in Milwaukee. And in Atlanta, well, they were getting ready. Here come the Braves.